Let's say that you're sitting in math class and you're just not having a good time because all of the assignments are long, repetitive worksheets that don't actually teach you any skills. They just ask you to regurgitate some step by step process over and over again. And the teacher is nice enough, but you get the feeling that they're under a lot of stress because if the class can't pass the standardized test at the end of the year, in other words, successfully regurgitate enough processes, he or she could lose their job. And this is what a typical math class in the United States has looked like for the past several decades: boring, frustrating, pointless, and just a terrible experience for everyone involved. And it's why most people don't know the real reason you can't divide by zero. My name is Paul. I was first introduced to the idea that mathematics could be beautiful and interesting and worth engaging with on my own time by the writings of Paul Lockhart. Great name. Anyway, Paul Lockhart has this excellent paper called A Mathematician's Lament, which I have linked in the description, and you should definitely read it and send it to your senator and school administrators and your parents. But anyway, dividing by zero. To understand this, we first need to understand division. The statement multiplication is just repeated addition gets thrown around a lot, but is something similar true for division? Is division repeated subtraction, for instance? If you're sitting in the boring, awful math class that I described earlier, the answer to that question is no, division is about grouping things, and that's all you'll get. But the truth is, if you take your numerator and subtract the denominator from it until you get zero, the number of times you subtracted the denominator just so happens to equal the right answer. So yes, in a way, division is repeated subtraction. And you can use this method to calculate remainders. I'll let you figure that part out on your own because I'm short on time and we need to talk about zero. What happens when we subtract zero from our numerator? Nothing. The value doesn't change, and it won't ever get down to zero so that we can count the number of subtractions we made, which means that this problem can't ever be solved. Even if you subtracted an infinite number of zeros from 10, it would still equal 10, and you still wouldn't have an answer to the question 10 divided by 0. Isn't that insane? Not even an infinite number of zeros is enough. Not even infinity is big enough to take something and subtract 0 from it and make it be any different from what it was before you subtracted 0 from it. It's just really, really cool that that's how it works. And it clearly demonstrates an idea that only ever gets briefly mentioned in most math classes. And the reason I know any of this is because I was curious and went to find an answer on my own. No one assigned me the task of solving divide by zero. I figured it out because I wanted to. So, will forcing students to take math classes give them the same experience of following their curiosity and discovering something interesting?